Okay, so let's picture this. You're getting it all done. I mean, from the outside, your life probably looks fine, maybe even impressive. You're just moving through your days, checking off all the boxes, but there's this weird, heavy feeling, right? A sense that something is just off. If you've ever felt like your body is showing up for your life, but your soul quietly checked out a while ago, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to dive into what's really going on here.
Yep, the emails get answered, the work gets done. You're nothing if not efficient.
The laundry gets folded, the house stays in one piece. You're on top of it, you're responsible. The kids get fed, you show up. You meet every single one of your obligations day after day. And that is the core paradox, isn't it? You are performing all the functions of a life, but you're not actually present enough to feel any of it. And I'm here to tell you that nagging sense that something's wrong, it is not just in your head. It's a real physiological state. So what we're talking about here actually has a name. It's called a functional freeze. And here's the most crucial part to understand. This is not a failure. It is not a sign of laziness. It's actually a sophisticated survival adaptation. Your nervous system found a clever way to keep your body going while protecting your mind from being totally overwhelmed. And this list pretty much sums up what that looks like in day-to-day life, doesn't it? It's that classic feeling of just going through the motions. You might finish a whole project at work and barely remember doing it. It's this deep physical exhaustion that makes no sense based on what you actually did that day. And it's getting everything done, hitting all your goals, but feeling absolutely no satisfaction. Sound familiar? This brings us to a really important shift in perspective. To understand functional freeze, we have to stop seeing it as some kind of character flaw and start seeing it as the wisdom of your nervous system. It's your body doing something incredibly intelligent to adapt to conditions that were just too much to handle. So here's a simple way to look at how this all works, based on something called polyvagal theory. Think of it like a ladder. At the very top, in our ventral vagal state, we feel safe, we feel connected. Now, if we sense a threat we think we can handle, we drop down a rung into fight or flight. But when the threat feels inescapable, when it feels like too much, our system drops all the way to the bottom rung, freeze or shut down. Okay, let's get a little nerdy for a second, but stick with me because this is fascinating. What's actually happening in the brain? Well, your brain's little threat detector, the amygdala, sends an emergency signal to your brainstem. And that part of your brainstem basically slams on a parasympathetic brake on your motor system. You're all revved up, but the brake is on. It's like having one foot on the gas and one on the brake at the same time. And you know, a response like this doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's often learned in environments where completely shutting down just wasn't safe or possible. Maybe you grew up in a house where emotions were seen as a problem, or you had to walk on eggshells around a parent. In those situations, your nervous system found a clever middle path. Keep the body moving, but pull the self way, way back to stay safe. Okay, and this is why so many people feel completely and utterly stuck. They've tried all the common solutions and nothing seems to work. And the reason is simple. Most approaches are designed to treat the smoke alarm, the anxiety, the depression, without ever addressing the fire, which is the deeply rooted state of your nervous system. This quote from Joel Blackstock just hits the nail on the head. See, functional freeze isn't just a chemical imbalance you can fix with a pill. It's a physiological state. Your nervous system learned this pattern to help you survive, and now it's just forgotten how to turn it off. And this is the key to why just talking about it sometimes isn't enough. The freeze response lives in what we might call the downstairs brain, the older, more primitive parts that don't operate on logic or language. This part of your brain doesn't understand words. It understands sensation. It speaks the language of the body. And that's why we need to think about two different paths to healing. You've got your top-down approaches, like traditional talk therapy, which are fantastic for your thinking brain. But to really get to the root of the freeze response, we often need bottom-up approaches, things that work directly with the feeling body and its sensations. All right, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Where do we even begin? Well, the key word here is gently. This isn't about forcing yourself out of it. It's about slowly, carefully reconnecting with your body one small moment at a time. I want you to really let this sink in. You cannot strong-arm your nervous system into feeling safe. Trying to blast yourself out of a freeze will just feel like another attack. The path back isn't through force, it's through tiny, kind, and consistent signals of safety. So you might be asking, okay, but what can I actually do? Well, here is a really practical tool you can use anytime, anywhere. It's a grounding exercise that yanks your attention out of that spinning story in your head and back into the present moment. You just name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can physically feel, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. It's a simple, direct way to send your nervous system one of those tiny, kind signals of safety. You see, this journey isn't actually about becoming more productive. You're already great at that. This is about shifting your focus away from productivity as a way to survive and toward presence as a way to truly live. It's the journey back to a life that you can actually feel. And as you start this process, the signs that you're healing, well, they might not be what you expect. It's not some big lightning bolt. It's a moment of real laughter that catches you by surprise. It's feeling irritated about something when before you would have felt nothing at all. It's actually tasting your morning coffee. And, weirdly enough, sometimes feeling a bit worse for a little while, like feeling sadness or grief, is a fantastic sign. It just means the numbness is starting to lift. When you boil it all down, this is what's been happening. You have been masterfully managing your entire life from a very, very safe distance, which has kept you protected but also profoundly disconnected. And so that really just leaves us with one final question. That brilliant strategy that kept you alive might now be the very thing that's keeping you from truly living. The real work is about learning how to feel safe in your own body again, right here in this moment. So maybe it's time to come home.